magic on the track, boys.
Saludos, programas, y bienvenidos. I am El Buntador Segundo, and we are here for another episode of Los Lobos de Lucha Libre, the weekly Biconics WrestlePod show where we talk about the Viernes Espectacular from CMLL. Of course, this can't be done by myself. So, with me, as always, are my two beautiful, lovely co hosts. First, we got El Jefe, Mikey. Say hi, Mikey.
Hi, Mikey. I'm happy to
Yeah.
be here tonight. My ring light died, so you're getting full brown exposure today.
Woo! Nice. And then we also have Papa Oso, who's Papa Oso has been here the whole time. The entire time he's been here. Say hi, Papa Oso.
Hola.
So we are covering the May 9th episode of Viernes Espectacular. That was this past week's episode. Not as much pomp and circumstance as the previous episodes that we've had. Like we had the MLW versus CMLL the week before. A lot of belt changes and whatnot. But I thought it was a pretty solid show. And on this show, we start right with a match Relampago, where we saw Fuego against El Coyote. Match Relampagos, just to cue everyone in, there is a 10-minute time limit. So win, lose, or draw, the time ends at 10 minutes. So this was a pretty good match, Relampago. In the end, Fuego hit a tijera on El Coyote for a near fall, and then did this like surprise roll-up thing on El Coyote, and ended up getting the 1-2-3 pin. So this match Relampago goes to Fuego. El Jefe, what were your thoughts on this opener?
See. No, I honestly, this opener was really, really good. Again, I love me a good Relampago match. I really, really do. I think the 10-minute time limit is always a fantastic way. And of course, to quote our unofficial fourth co-host, Agent Lo-Fi, of what he said previously, fringe on fringe on fringe. I love Fuego and his fringe. It is so good. I really, really, really do.
There was all the fringe in this episode too.
I mean, truly, honestly, Fuego is a character. I love him. But I do have to agree with Agent Lo-Fi that El Coyote would be really good in the pure division in ROH. They're such a good technical style of lucha libre that he brings, which is a very interesting and not as common combination when it comes to lucha libre. Of course, we have our power-based luchadors, we have the high-flying action of lucha libre too, but there's something very technical in which El Coyote does, and I thought this was a really good match, and I think it was fun, it was different, and I know I say this every single week. This was a fun way to open, but honestly, this is probably this is probably one of the strongest starts we've had in a couple of weeks to an opener match, which was really, really solid.
All right. Papa, also, what did you think about our opener, Fuego versus El Coyote, in a match Relámpago?
I will agree. I think this is probably one of the stronger opening matches that I've seen in a while, and I really liked it. I liked. I mean, Fuego's great. El Coyote, though, I was all about him. I loved his style. I liked watching him. I don't know, just his technique or his technical style, whatever it is, but I really enjoyed watching him work. And but the whole dynamic of this, I think it really kind of set up the evening's worth of entertainment, because I really liked it. I liked it a lot.
Definitely. Yep. So really fun match to open the night, which gets us into our next match for the night, which is our Amazonas match, where we see Princess Suhuit, India Sue, our Technicas, versus Xerxes and Reina Isis. This was a relevo sencillo, a dos de tres caídas, so it was a best 2 out of 3 pinfall. But before we start talking about the match itself, can we talk about the witch queen that is Xerxes and this whole thing?
Yes. I love this.
Right? Who says brown people can't be nerds as well? Come on. So anyway, so this was a best 2 out of 3. Very, very good back and forth. In the end, though, our Ruda team of Xerxes and Reina Isis do pick up the win. Papa, also, you love our Amazonas. Talk to us. How did this make you feel?
I always love the Amazonas. They make me tingle every time I see them in the ring. No, I absolutely, of course, Xerxes and Reina Isis. I love. The other two, I don't think I've ever seen them wrestle before. Am I incorrect in that, or?
I would say yes. However, they've been in multi-Amazona matches, so having them pulled out like this, you might not recognize them.
Okay, because I didn't recognize the names, and I think that's because everything I do is based on names. So, and I know that sometimes names can change, but I didn't recognize the names, so I was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, I get to see new people, which I'm excited about, and I was totally excited about this. I loved it. Again, when it comes to the wrestling here, I think the women's wrestling is so much more brutal than the men's. Even though I will have to say that recently, I think the men's matches have started to get a little more brutal than normal, which I love. But this match, I love watching these women do their thing. And the other thing I love about watching the women's matches is the audience response to the women's matches is just amazing. It's just so incredible. And I think that that's so different than what we get in the sort of, what dare I say, the Western style, the American style. Is that when women wrestle, it's like, oh, okay, woo, women there, but then the men come out like, woo, they get a whole lot more of that. But here in Mexico, in the lucha style, it's like the women are like, the men down, whatever, women, woo, women, whooping each other's butts is amazing, and I just love it. And all 4 of these women were fantastic. I liked watching all of their techniques. I like watching all of their sort of dirty dealings, and you're going to hear my dryer going in the background, and I apologize because we're drying, I think, dog collars. But yeah, these women, man, for me, they just every time they're on, they knock it out of the park. So whoop, go girls.
Indeed. Jefe, dígame, what did you think of our Amazonas match for the night?
So I thought, okay, so I want to start off with some positives, right? Because I love all four of these. Of course, Reina Isis is my girl. Y'all know this at this point. I thought this was a pretty solid match. However, I will say at least these combination of four, I have seen better outings from them per se. Whether it be these four in the ring or different pairings with each other. I will say though, I do think the strongest performance for this match for me is India. I think this is probably her strongest performance to date, at least since we started covering CMLL, which I think is a good in the right direction, especially since she is technically a newer champion as well, because she's only held that championship for less than a month, if I remember correctly. It's been a hot minute. Listen, we watch a lot of wrestling, so things tend to blur together. I will say I enjoyed the match. I thought it was a very solid. However, I think individually these four have had more stronger matches. Not to say it wasn't necessarily bad. I do think towards the tail end of the match, I think it did pick up and everything started to click into place. It just took a little bit to get there, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I think for me personally, I think this was a solid match, but with a little more tweaking, it could have went from solid to really great. That's where I stand with this one.
Oh, fair, definitely fair. I do want to shout out Princesa Suhui and India Sue. At the end, India Sue hit a beautiful moonsault off the corner, the top turnbuckle, and then no, I apologize. She hit it off the ring apron onto Zoxys and Reina Isis, and then Princesa Suhui hit a plancha. Beautiful plancha off the top turnbuckle onto the outside of where Zoxys and Reina Isis were. Really cool moves. I do agree. It did take a little bit to warm up. I mean, and yeah, I feel that we have seen maybe some better outings with these four. Still a very fun match. Still a very fun match.
Agent Lo-Fi with the run in here. Fun fact, Raider is Princesa Suhui's son. Interesting.
And he's a rudo?
That's crazy. They really do. CMLL really be having family members in this business. That's crazy.
Ooh, wow. All righty. So then this takes us to our next match. And we'll say, have fun looking for the rings on the Shire there, Xerxes. This brings us to our next match, which was Relevo Australiano, best 2 out of 3 pinfall, where we see our technical team of La Fuerza Tapatía, Explosivo, Star Black, and Fugaz versus Filano Jr., Hijo de Stuka Jr., and El Cobarde, our Rudo team. Since this was a best 2 out of 3, we did have the Rudos take the first pinfall. Technicals take the second and third pinfall, giving us a triumphal technicals. Papa also, let's no. Oh, Jefe, what'd you think?
You know what? I enjoyed this one. I think because of the fact that outside of all the other shows that CMLL does every week, it's an interesting combination of people that we've had on here, because these are folks that, at least on Viernes Espectacular, we don't really get to see them that often, and especially towards the middle of the card, because some of these folks are usually towards the beginning or like in between certain things. I actually really enjoyed this. I thought this was a lot of fun. Again, I think it just showcases how, quote unquote, and I know this word is very tired, but very deep, the CMLL roster is. They utilize both a lot of, luchadors across all of their shows, both for the men's and the Amazonas division. And I thought this was a fun one. Again, fun is the word I use all the time, but this is exactly what this is. This is towards the middle of the card. This is the third matchup for the evening. And you know what? We just gonna get everybody hyped and having a good time. So this was a fun match. Would I go back and say that this is my match? Be like, oh my gosh, they burnt the house down, all that stuff? No. But I think it was a fun match. And of course, some of these guys we've seen before, they've had, more stronger outings, but you can't go wrong with some high flying lucha libre action. So I had a good time. This was a fun one to watch and I enjoyed myself.
Okay, Papa, also to you. What did you think? And should I buy pants that were like Explosivos pants that he wore?
The answer is
Friday?
yes.
Yes, absolutely. Resounding abso-freaking-lutely.
Really,
GoFundMe is in the chat.
Yeah, really quick. I didn't take the screenshot of it, but Explosiva had these really awesome like light blue and yellow fiery pants that had
great.
TNT on the side. It was really cool. Anyway,
Yeah, those
sorry.
were really
Papa also. Go ahead.
I thought this was a really fun match. I don't think it was like, super spectacular, but I don't think it was bad. I thought it was decent. It was fun to watch. I didn't find myself getting bored, so that's always good. And I thought that all of these guys did their thing and did it well. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing super bad, super great about it. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. And yeah, I love those pants were badass.
Yeah, and the pants, and then like the matching mask he had this night was fantastic. Really quick, I want to shout out Star Black, because man, when he does that handspring bouncing off the rope into a back handspring thing, so cool. It's so cool, and it just looks so seamless when he does it. And then one thing that I really appreciated about this match was they saved all the near falls for the third fall, which I appreciated quite often. And it's a whole meme now, where it's the 1, 2, ooh, it's like an entire match of near falls. So I appreciated the near fall happening at the last fall. I felt that kept the drama up a little bit on it. And also I want to shout out the Technicals doing that synchronized tope that they did. It was just very cool. Very, very cool. So moving on. If you like what you see, if you like the wrestling, if you want to hear more talks about the wrestling, then please join us. You can find us on the interwebs. We are the Pyconics, and you can find us on all the social medias at BC WrestlePod. You can find us on Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Twitch, Blue Sky. We have a new merch store, which I'm sure over in this direction in the comment section, the new merch stuff has been posted. But if it hasn't, it's BC WrestlePod spring.fourthwall.com. Check it out. We have a lot of cool stuff for all of our different shows. And if you really want to support us, please find us on Patreon at BC WrestlePod. We have a lot of content that's specific for our Patreon. So yeah, check it out. And speaking of all the other shows, we literally have shows every day except for Thursday. Thursday is the day that we rest. But not this Thursday. Oh, no, because coming up this week. Coming up this week, for the rest of the week, this is our schedule. Tomorrow night, we have the MLP Northern Rising review, where we're going to be reviewing some Canadian wrestling, that'll be at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On Friday, we have our TNA review, which will be at 11:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, at 8:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On Sunday, we have our WWE review, which will be at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can read. And 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And as an
You're
extra
wrong.
treat this
Just
week,
kidding.
please watch for some surprise drops regarding the NJPW Best of the Super Junior 2025, where the brackets will be gone over. So
Also, I didn't tell the co-host this, but we are competing to see who has the best coverage of their block. Just kidding.
Indeed. I'm excited to see that. So I know that in the other show, in the other big shows that the peoples watch, there's this dude that wears a green shirt and he's like the green shirt dude and everyone knows him. I want to send a shout out to these guys. I don't know who they are, but every Viernes Espectacular, they are front row and they are loving every minute of it. And they seem to have like all the masks, and I'm jealous. But a shout out to these primos, and hopefully one day when we make it down to Mexico, we'll be able to, say hi and take a picture with them. So they are my green shirt guy. I'm sending them that shout out. Taking us to our next match, which I thought was a very, very, very fun match. Had a very old school feel, where we had Atlantis and Blue Panther teaming up against Los Gemelos Diablo Primero y Segundo. This was a relevo sencillo, best 2 out of 3 fall. In the end, we do get our team of we do get our team of Atlantis and Blue Panther getting the win. Let's start with Papa Oso. What did you think? And does this constitute as elder abuse?
No, because the elder was teaching some lessons. I really like this. Of course, I love it when the older generations are involved. I think it's wonderful. I think it's just to me, it's just the cultural nature of the event, is the idea, that generational idea that you can have grandfather, father, son, all in the same sort of wrestling arena together, wrestling with together, and I just love all of that. And I also have to say, there's a lot of Panthers in Lucha Libre, by the way. I can't keep them all straight. It's like Blue Panther, and I was like, wait, which one is this?
Yeah. I believe that they are either our sons or like nephews of this Blue Panther. So
okay, so all of the other Panthers,
just a long line.
All the Pantherlings come from this particular Panther. Got it. Okay, which is fantastic, and I love that. These other guys, I don't think I've ever seen them before. I don't recognize them at all, and I thought they were fun. In this picture that you have here, they look like devil goat men, and with those lovely little beards on their masks. But overall, I really enjoyed the match. I really did, and I love Atlantis also. I think he's just great. This teaming up over here of Atlantis and Blue Panther was wonderful, and I loved watching them work together. And I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's elder abuse at all, because, like I said, they were delivering some life lessons in that ring.
Yeah.
So no, it was really great. I loved it.
All right, El Jefe, Atlantis, Blue Panther versus Los Gemelos Diablo Primero y Segundo. Give us your take.
So I mentioned this when me and my good friend Adolfo were covering Azteca Lucha this past Saturday. So if you add up the concurrent years that is between Atlantis here and Blue Panther, they have almost a whole 100. Well, they get close to being 100 plus years of in-ring together, which is wild alone. And then when you add the other one of Octagon Jr. too, and how long, forget about it. I like watching old guys do what old guys do best and show why they still be wrestling out here, and proverbially speaking, spanking the children, so to speak. and to show that Lucha Libre doesn't have an age limit for a lot of this. And so this was just a lot of fun. We have come to understand that some of our older wrestlers here in Arena Mexico and CMLL, like, we don't know how much longer we're going to get them. So I'm going to enjoy the ride while we got them. And I thought this was great.
Yeah.
I do love the twins over here. I love Los Gemelos Diablo Uno y Dos. I love these two together. It's always fun. They come out sparingly. It's been fun. But I had a great time. This was to make the crowd happy because Atlantis and Blue Panther, of course, win. And you know what? It's a match to make the crowd have a good time and have fun. I was like, yes, I am here for this.
Yeah, Los Gemelos Diablo, I normally see them in Guadalajara on the Martes de Glamour and on the Saturday show. Yeah, Blue Panther and Atlantis are chicos. So true.
For crowd noise,
So
yes.
true. So true. Oh, and hola, Agent Lo-Fi, Primo. How are we? We got Agent Lo-Fi, our man on the street, doing
having a whole conversation right now in the comments. It's great.
That's right. Yeah, you know, if you are not familiar with Lucha Libre, if you're not familiar with CMLL, and you look at this picture, Atlantis and Blue Panther, and you know, are like, oh, so like, you know, is this like a Sting or like Ric Flair like this type situation? Let me tell you, these two still have moves. I mean, Blue Panther was hitting dang moonsaults off the ring apron. Atlantis was handing out planchas for everyone off the top rope. These two can still move, and they can still hold the crowd and the excitement on the match. But this does bring up a question that I do want to pose to my beloved associates here, because of recent events that happened this past week. Rest in peace, rest in power, Sabu. We hope that we send condolences out to your family, but we do. On the Biconics podcast, we do often critique older wrestlers staying too long past their prime. Do you feel that in the example of Atlantis and Blue Panther that this can be applied, that maybe they like this should be like their last year and then they should, you know, go live the good life? Or do you feel like that doesn't apply here? Because we have, like, again, like the retirement match of Ric Flair where he dang near had a heart attack, right? It's so often not done well. El Jefe, I'm gonna start with you. You had the most visceral reaction. What do you think?
Well, it was more so trying to repurge the Ric Flair retirement match out of my brain. Look, there was a lot of disappointed faces, and I was with all of them. So please forgive me. I probably will take up a little bit of time because I want to try to get my thoughts as coherently and as eloquently possible to make sure they get through. And again, I am just speaking off of what my limited knowledge is in terms of where I come from, culture wise, geographical wise. So please bear with me. Just in case, to cover our booty cheeks really quick. Where are you? Here you go, little guy. There we go. I just need to make sure that the things I say are my own opinion and don't come from my hostmates, please. I will probably ruffle some feathers, but that is okay. So, short answer is no. The long answer to this is no, because at least from my knowledge, the way that luchadores and CMLL and Arena Mexico and just the culture of Lucha Libre in Mexico within this space of CMLL it seems that yes, we do have a lot of wrestlers that are pushing 40s, 50s, 60s, sometimes 70s. But I think it's such a different way in which their bodies are being taken care of and how they're using their bodies as they are getting older. Um, not to use Sabu as a example because the poor man just recently passed, but within the heyday in which Sabu was the most active and given that time period of wrestling too, just like any other sports franchise and sports in general, nobody really knew the risk of, flying, blading, profusely getting hit with unprotected chair shots, all that good stuff. And, for those of us that watch, GCW Spring Break with Sabu's retirement match, we just saw years and years and years of a man whose mental and physical body embodiment has gone through the ringer, and it definitely showed. And I feel that in 2025, again, I feel like the Western companies are starting to finally put into place, protecting the longevity of their talent. But I feel like it took years of people getting hurt. We took this instance with Sabu passing and just seeing how much his body has gone through. Also, because of unprotectedness and just, cranial damage that certain wrestling moves can do to the brains of wrestlers, too. We're not going to mention names, but everybody knows what I'm referring to when it comes to certain things like oof. So I feel that a lot of the international brands do well to do right by their talent. I mean, we also just saw Tetsuya Naito is finally, in New Japan, finally getting the surgeries and the stem cell treatments that he needs for his eye and for his knee after years of going. And so I think CMLL and just Mexico in general has done a good job to not only preserve like the physical wellness and the mental wellness of their older wrestlers, but I also think the culture in which Lucha Libre is as general, it's more of a communal thing than it is an individual basis that also kind of helps too. Because studies have shown when you are getting older, if you surround yourself with a community that supports you and appreciates you and loves you and uplifts you, you tend to live a lot longer than if you were to try to go at this like here in the Western days with this single mentality. Again, I can spend a whole entire video talking about that. My degree is in psychology, and there's a lot of overlap between psychology and wrestling around the world. But that is where I'm going to leave this one. I think that CMLL does a good job here, especially in the Mexicano Latino culture of, taking care of our elders. And shoot, my grandma lived to be a very long time before she passed. God rest her soul. I think it's just it's a whole combination of factors. But my conclusion to all of this, no, I don't think Atlantis and Blue Panther need to retire. Of course, I always want what's best for them when they feel ready. But I feel that because they're so well taken care of in all different aspects, I feel that their bodies aren't underneath the same wear and tear as a lot of our older wrestlers here are in the States.
All right, Papa also, give us your thoughts.
Okay, so I'm going to approach it from a different standpoint. I'm going to approach it from a theatrical standpoint. So, as all things wrestling, it is a performance. We all know that. We know it's scripted. We know it's choreographed. We know that. So when it comes to this sort of thing, one, as in all things theatrical, you have safety nets. Do accidents happen? Absolutely. But usually when you have like people like Blue Panther and Ukamura and these sort of people who are up in age, you tend to put stronger safety nets in place for them so that they can continue. It's the same thing in theater, is that, we don't, if you take, for instance, Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen is what we would look at and go, oh my gosh, he's like getting up there in age, and he's having hard times with this, that, and the other thing. But I am never going to be that person that tells Sir Ian McKellen, that he cannot act anymore. So with these people and with these wrestlers, one, everybody remember they're grown ass adults and they can make those decisions on their own. Now, if they choose to ignore their bodies, because your body will tell you, hey, it's time to stop, even though your mind is saying, hey, we can go another round. If they ignore what their body is telling them, that is their choice. So, do I think that there should be any of that involved? Absolutely not. Blue Panther, he should be able to wrestle until he literally is carried out in a body bag. That is his right. Do I want that to happen? Absolutely not. Do I want them to go, you know what? I've reached my peak. My body is saying it's no more. It's no bueno. And I'm stopping now. Retire, go out with a bang, whatever you want to do, and then you retire out. But I would never say, because I think it's ageism in a major way to say, oh, you're too old to do this. And I'm like, Okamura is doing things that I'm a 53-year-old. I can't do that crap. So you do you, boo. And when you're ready to retire, you will let people know when you're ready to retire. So, no, I think these men, one, they have fought long and hard to get where they are. They have worked their asses off to get where they are. And I think we should damn well let them do what they want to do. And let them back out when they feel that it is time to back away.
I agree with you, Will. So, not to take the reins here a little bit, but El Buntador, we want to hear your thoughts too. What do you think about this whole thing?
I agree with the both of you. In essence, your body, your choice, right? If they want to wrestle until they are carried out in a body bag, which we don't want to see. But if that's their choice, then that's their choice. I feel that, and again, I haven't watched Lucha Libre consistently until recently, so I might be wrong. I also haven't watched all this international wrestling that I've watched recently for too long. I will add that disclaimer. And these are my own thoughts. But I feel like American wrestling, that there is that ageism, right? Where let's take an example of LA Knight, right? One of the reasons why Dushosaurus Rex wouldn't push LA Knight is because he told LA Knight to his face that LA Knight was too old. LA Knight was like 40 something, and he told LA Knight he was too old. Of course, LA Knight, proved him wrong. But it seems like there's a lot more of, oh, you've reached this age, you need to stop, right? So then the wrestler stops and tries to retire, but anyone that has been on stage, anyone that has done anything passionately knows that it's super difficult to stop doing what you're passionate about. And you want to keep doing it, right?
Right.
I feel the international scene, Lucha Libre, Japan, even over like in England and whatnot, I feel like there isn't that type of ageism that they just let people keep doing it, which is an important thing, right? Because if you do something right over and over again and then stop and then try to come back, it's so much harder than if you just continuously keep doing it, so I feel that's why Atlantis, that's why Blue Panther, Okamura,
Octagon Jr.
Yeah, Octagon Jr., Naito, that's why they are able to come back and have great matches, because they haven't stopped. They've kept their bodies going, and they've kept their minds going, and yeah. So that's where I'm at on that. don't want to get too long-winded on it. You're right. That could be a whole podcast episode of its own.
Forget a podcast.
Anyway.
I'm gonna make a video essay if I want to be a part of it. Especially not to go too far into it, but it's kind of funny that we tell women they need to retire earlier than the men in wrestling. But that's a whole other thing. But
That's a whole other. Right.
Thank you for staying for our TED Talk.
Yeah, that's right. So now let me set up this next slide because it's not a match, but this is a thing that happens on Viernes Espectacular. Now, one of the things I love about Viernes Espectacular is that even at home, you feel like you are at the arena, right? And Arena Mexico, I mean, all the shows are very fan forward, and one of the things that they have is a kiss cam. Now we've all seen the kiss cam, right? That they do at like the major league sporting events, right? The cool thing about the CMLL one is they actually put it up on TV, so we're like watching it as well, and they have this whole like heart graphic, and they go around, they show people on like kiss cam, uno más, and it's really cute. Yo, shout out to this dude that proposed.
Yes, I was like,
his,
yes.
And let me tell you, when the crowd went nuts for this, they went nuts for this, and I love you, Lucha Libre.
We love love. Yes,
so
and
excited.
especially in our wrestling, we love it.
Yeah. So shout out to this couple. They'll probably never see this show, but if they do, congratulations and muchos besos a ustedes. Mwah, mwah, mwah. So beautiful. But this does bring us to our semi-main event, where we have the technical team of Atlantis Jr., Flip Gordon, and Star Jr. Versus your Rudo team of Volador Jr., a returning Kojima, and our favorite zombie turned luchador, Difunto, in relevo australiano for one fall, de una caída. The Rudos do end up with the win. Atlantis Jr. getting pinned and getting pinned clean. So El Jefe, let's go to you. What did you think of this match? And is Grim Reaper Defunto best Defunto or no?
Well, to answer that question, Grim Reaper anything is always great. Listen, as a kid who grew up on the Grim Fandango video game as a staple of, his childhood, which apparently to some people was yesterday. But no, in all seriousness, yes, Grim Reaper Defunto is always great. Listen, I have the privilege of being Mexican and Puerto Rican, but going into my Mexican roots, Dia de los Muertos is a big thing in my family. So yes. So first and foremost, I'm going to talk about this in two parts. Before I get into the match, we got to address some things. First, Flip, love you. Call me. You is fine. Also, I love you. Second, Star Jr., be prepared. I'm waiting for you to be in the next episode of La Rosa de Guadalupe out here looking like a telenovela. You cannot tell me that whoever did these graphics gave him the filter of telenovela star. He out here looking him and his Fabio looking ass out here. I was like, I think I'm turned on. I don't know whether to be turned on or mad that you killed your twin brother, but I digress.
Straight up, he does look like Don Felipe.
Seriously, tell me wrong. Also, whatever this look Volador Jr. is going with, yes to more of it, please, because it is getting out of hand, and I'm here for it.
It's Dark Volador Jr. He has a mustache. It is Mirror Universe Dark Volador
evil
Jr.
brother, Volador Jr. Negra.
Yeah, because not only does he have the mustache, but he also he's been wearing the black headband too. Mirror Universe Dark Volador Jr.
It was crazy. So as far as the match goes, again, I thought this is a fun one, but just like I kind of brought up with our Amazonas match, I feel that the 6 of them, whether it's here in Arena Mexico or in the case of Kojima in MLW and other places, I feel that these 6 have had stronger matches, but again, this wasn't necessarily bad. Trust me, I saw a lot of worse wrestling this past week, and that this was not one of them. But I feel, again, this was a fun one. I got everything that I expected from these 6. You know, we got Kojima chops, we got Volador Jr. being great, we got Zombie-ness and Defunto. Atlantis doing Atlantis things, Flip, and Star Jr. out here doing Star Jr. things. So again, I thought this was a really fun match, but I also feel that outside of this, both individually, and this isn't the first time we've seen these combination of folks before since covering CMLL, I feel like we've had stronger outings, but I still had a good time. This was fun.
All right, Papa Oso, dígame, mi amor, what did you think? What did you think of this match?
I thought this was a fun match. I think it could have been more, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. Flip was yummy. Volador Jr.'s new look, man. I don't know, but it touched me in ways that probably isn't good for daytime television.
I do just want to say one thing about Dark Volador Jr. He has not done the Magic Mike pant ripoff since becoming Dark Volador Jr. And I do miss that. Just saying.
Just the whole this whole new aesthetic. He needs to keep going.
Will's about to boost himself.
If this is the Mirror universe, then that's where we need to live. So, but now overall, I love this. You know, Kojima doing his thing. There was that when they got all 3 of them in the corner at that one point, and he was just slapping.
I'm here for triple Kojima slap chops. It was so good.
It was great. So there were a lot of great fun moments in this match. I really enjoyed it. They were all fun. Everyone was doing. I mean, oh God, who was it? God, oh my God. I can't remember who it was now. Maybe it was Atlantis. I can't remember. It was or maybe it was Flip. Somebody was literally slinging people around there at the beginning, and I can't remember who it was, but it was awesome. Just people just going and flying, and just bodies everywhere, and it was just fun to watch. So yes. I really had a good time watching this one.
Yeah, definitely. My shout out for my 2 shout outs for this match. Number 1 was the Kojima chops ×3. And I love how he ramped it up. Like the first person got into the turnbuckle and he started chopping slow. The second started chopping a little faster. And then finally when Flip was in there, he was just like, oh, it's so good. So good. And then the next thing I got to shout out is Defunto, who did that missile double flying kick after running from the ramp, jumping up on the second rope to the third rope, and then delivering the miss. I mean, and he does the tightrope walking on the regular. He didn't do it this match, but he does it on the regular. Like Defunto, he's something else. I really enjoy. Yes, yeah.
Agent Lo-Fi calling us out. I love it.
You know, I love them jobs. So yeah, so yeah, it was a fun semi main event match. Yes, and he does it barefoot too, which is really cool, really cool. And also it looks like he paints his toenails because they had white paint on them this
Love
time.
it.
Usually they're black. So just saying.
Yes.
Anyway, so this brings us to our main event, which I was actually real looking forward to, where we saw Los Infernales, the Rulo team of Averno, Euphoria, and Mephisto versus Sky Team, Místico, Máscara Dorada, and Neon. This Sky Team got brutalized in this, and had Los Infernales not got DQ'd that first pinfall. Point of information, this was a Relevo Australiano. Best 2 out of 3 pinfalls. A dos de tres de tres caídas. But yeah, if Los Infernales did not get DQ'd in that first pinfall, then they would have had the match and would have walked away laughing at Sky Team. I feel. But the first pinfall, Los Infernales got DQ'd because they literally ripped everyone's masks off. And then the second fall went to the technicals again because they did do a really cool pinning combination where Máscara Dorada and Neon, they pinned Averno and Mephisto. So they ended up winning. But yeah, Papa Oso, Los Infernales. Or what did you think of this match? And do we need more leather in wrestling?
We always need more leather in wrestling. I'm looking for some harnesses going, and maybe some assless chaps. I don't know. We'll have to negotiate those, I guess.
If we reach the $50 on the Patreon, you can definitely see Papa Oso re-rocking a harness.
Nobody wants to pay money for that. Euphoria, of course, I love, and he's just a wall of meat, and everybody who encounters him just bounces off, and it's quite fun to watch. I'm not sure, but Máscara Dorada was doing something to me tonight, and I don't know what it was, but it's not normal. But there was something about him tonight that just had me kind of flushed, and it was fun to watch. I did notice that, yeah, the Sky Team did get their asses whooped. I was just like, what is happening right now? Like half of them were bent over the barrier at one point. I mean, it was like, what is going on right now? Which little surprised me actually, but but I will have to say this though. It was kind of nice seeing the good guys get their butts whooped. So it's not always the good guys finish best. So it was actually really nice to see like Mystico and Máscara de Neon kind of get wiped the floor with. Because I mean, these folks, the Averno and Euphoria and Mephisto, I mean, they're your villains, man. They were acting like it too. That's what was so great. I mean, it was so when they were ripping masks, I was just like, there you are. I was waiting for it because I didn't know if they were going to do it or not, but there it was, and I was like, yep, okay, I see where this match is going. So, I mean, it was a fun match. I don't necessarily think it was like main event material. Really? I mean, it was good, but I didn't think it was like that good. But I enjoyed it. I just think that they could have put something else in this spot. I don't know. But that's just me.
Okay. All right. El Jefe, what did you think of our main event? And did you know that Mystico had hair?
I think I fell in love too when I found that out. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I might stir the pot a little bit. So I thought this was okay. I think the in-ring action was great. Again, this is my opinion, so take this with a grain of salt. There's time and time again, regardless of where we watch wrestling, there's that we can always tell that definitely this was a match to, while the in-ring was fine, the main purpose of this was to set up things. And normally I somewhat have an issue with it. I didn't necessarily have an issue with it, but it also kind of doesn't help the cause to begin with. So I thought this was a fun match for sure between these six. I mean, I love Sky Team. I love our Rudos. It's been a hot minute since I've seen Averno too. I love Averno. I think he's fantastic. He's probably one of my favorite Rudos, or at least in my top 5. I do think that while this does set up for what we're getting this Friday for Viernes Espectacular, I feel that this was a little bit flat in terms of a main event, which is very unfortunate because I feel that all 6 of these individuals are fantastic in-ring workers, but I think because of the story that they were telling to get us from point A to point B from the beginning of the match to the end of the match, which ultimately sets up what's happening this Friday at Viernes Espectacular, I feel that kind of overshadowed like what normally what a main event in Arena Mexico on a Friday is supposed to feel like. Still good, but just a little bit of a dip in the energy and for me. So that's where I'm at with this one.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. It definitely, I didn't feel like it warranted being a main event. To be honest, I would have put Atlantis and Blue Panther versus Los Gemelos Diablos in the main event spot
Same.
with this one. Not saying, but not saying it was bad. I did enjoy it. It was very entertaining. I agree with Papa also. I thoroughly enjoyed Los Infernales just beating Sky Team up just to beat Sky Team up. I do two shout outs real quick. I want to send. Number one, I really appreciate how ever since Euphoria lost his mask and he's gone to this whole, like biker motif going on, how Los Infernales also have pivoted and now they're coming out looking bikerish, in solidarity. So that was really, really cool. My other shout out, which actually is a question, I was actually surprised because our favorite ref Guero Noriega was calling the shots on this, and when in that first pinfall, when in the entirety of Sky Team had their masks removed, he DQ'd just for that fall, but not like fully giving the match to the Technicals, which we have seen in the past. Him DQ the team altogether for removing the other team's masks. So I thought that was very very interesting. To be honest, I thought that was where the match was going to end when the masks were removed and he DQ'd everyone. But then I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing another pinfall. All right, here we go. But yes, like El Jefe said, at the end, Mystico does get the microphone, and for all intents and purposes, he challenges Los Infernales for a match for the trios titles that Los Infernales do hold. So that was this past episode of Viernes Espectacular. Coming up this week on Viernes Espectacular, I actually, looking at the card, I think we have a better card coming up this upcoming week. So we're going to be starting off with a Match Relampago, where we're going to have El Audaz versus Disturbio. Disturbio we haven't seen in a while, so good to see him. Second match is going to be Magia Blanca and Brillante Jr. versus El Cobarde and Guerrero Maya Jr., which is interesting because Magia Blanca, I believe, is a Rudo, but Brillante Jr., I think, is a Técnico. So if someone could fact check me on that, I'd appreciate it. But so that's a very interesting pairing. Sky Team was built for those belts. Calma, por favor. I'm getting there. And then we have our third match. It's going to be a Match Relampago de Amazonas, where we will see La Catalina, who we haven't seen on Viernes Espectacular in a bit.
She's been killing it in ROH right now. versus
Reina de Nuestros Corazones, Persephone.
Oop, don't get copyrighted.
I am so excited to see Persephone again. We haven't seen her on Viernes Espectacular in a bit. So after that, we're going to have a evento especial where with La Fuerza Tapatía. So again, that is Fugaz La Fuerza Tapatía versus El Galeon Fantasma, our favorite ghost ship.
We were just talking about we've been seeing 2 out of the 3 of them.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun to see El Galeon Fantasma back together. Then our next match, which I feel will be Papa Oso's default favorite match, we have Templario, Star Jr., and Esfinge and Flip Gordon versus Volador Jr., Rocky Romero, Magnus, and Rugido. So the Depredadores are going to be teaming up with with Papi, Rocky Romero. I still don't understand that whole dynamic, but
Look, I get to look at Rocky Romero with the ugliest intent next week or this Friday, and I'm here for it.
Right. And as alluded to, and the spot was blown up by Agent Lo-Fi. No, just kidding. Our main event is going to be for por los el campeonato de trios del CMLL for the trios championship belt. We got Sky Team, Místico, Máscara Dorada, and Neon versus Los Infernales, Averno, Euphoria, and Mephisto for those belts. It's going to be, I think this is going to be a very fun card. I'm excited for it. I'm very excited for it. And also, if you do want to tune into some CMLL goodness and can't make Viernes Espectacular, they do have shows all throughout the week. They also have a Arena Mexico show on Saturdays. On Mondays, CMLL comes to you from the Arena Puebla. And then on Saturdays and Tuesdays, CMLL comes to you from not only Arena Mexico, but the Arena Coliseo de Guadalajara, which you actually get to see a bunch of different talent on all the shows. So it's, each show is very fun. Upcoming Lucha coming up in June. So we're like knocking on this door, believe it or not. We're really close to this. We're going to have AEW coming down.
Yep. 5 weeks.
Yeah, we got AEW coming down to Arena Mexico. So on Tuesday, they're going to have CMLL versus AEW and ROH. And then on Wednesday, the 18th of June, we are going to have AEW Grand Slam from Arena Mexico. So that is going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of great matches. And now, El Jefe, I toss it to you for the news, las noticias.
So, as somebody who watches way too much wrestling, I am here to give you news and other matches that involve from CMLL talent from this past week that you should definitely go check out if you have the time. Please don't feel like you have to. I don't want to hack your schedule. But I'm actually going to give credit to Agent Lo-Fi because we're going to tag team these news outlets from what I have and what he provided to us earlier in the show. So I will start with mine, in which that as we were watching this episode of Viernes Espectacular, they did give us an overview of what the remainder of May is going to look like in Arena Mexico. So on Friday, May 23rd, it is the elimination matches for the Copa Junior, which makes me excited. So we are getting another tournament. We are entering our summer tournament arcs, and I'm here for it. And then, of course, the subsequent Friday, May 30th show is the finals for the Copa Junior, which makes me super excited. It's going to be great. In terms of that whole week of CMLL, AEW, and ROH folks colliding in Arena Mexico that week, as announced on Informa, so credit goes to Agent Lo-Fi, on the Tuesday, June 17th show, we are getting Persephone versus our women's ROH television champion, Red Velvet, which I'm super excited about. And we're also getting Ultimo Guerrero, Averno, and Hechicero taking on Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Rocky Azúcar Romero. So the Don Callis family versus Ultimo, Averno, and Hechicero. Can't wait.
Wait a minute. We're going back to Babyface Rocky? Ew. Sorry.
It's not... Listen, let me catch you at the speed. Rocky is not babyface. He is heel in AEW right now, and it's kind of great. Also, shout out to Rocky. You were amazing at the New Japan show on Friday, but I digress. And then on top of that, again, credit go to Agent Lo-Fi. on June 20th, which is a couple days later, at Fantastica Mania, Mexico, we're getting Ultimo Guerrero versus our current IWGP Global Champion, Yota Tsuji, which makes me excited. Them boys are going to hit hard, and hard they going to hit. So, in terms of news, that is it. But I also want to, if you're looking for CMLL talent in other places, yes, let us go. I love this regional fight. It's definitely being built in CMLL versus AEW. So Rocky, definitely the rudo on that one. Can't wait. It's going to be good. It's going to be great. But I do have a little bit of other things that happened. So while I changed it, you get my fancy. Okay. So here's some other matches that involve CMLL talent from this past week that we got either witness individually or together. And you should definitely go check it out if you have time. Firstly, I want to cover New Japan Resurgence, which took place this past Friday in Ontario, California, which is literally in my backyard, about an hour and 15 away. And we got to see Templario in action, teaming up with his stablemate TJP to take on the Best Coast Wrecking Crew for the Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships. And you guys, it was beautiful because Templario and TJP are your new Strong Tag Team champs. And, we got to see Templario sport that championship the next night as I talk about Azteca Lucha. So CMLL and MLW had a cross-promotional show, which is free on YouTube, by the way. Please go watch that. Me and my good friend Adolfo had a watch-along for it. And, Agent Lo-Fi was in there with us, too, hanging out. So it was a lot of fun. But to quickly recap the matches that you should go out of your way, or at least that happened, we had our MLW World Tag Team title fight, which saw Los Depredadores. Yes, I could pronounce it right. Announcers, we need to do better. It was hard to watch white people pronounce Spanish. It was not great. But it was still a lot of a good time. Los Depredadores ended up retaining after some shenanigans, which also had Blue Panther Jr. and Dark Panther call them out for a rematch in Arena Mexico sometime in the future. So I'm excited. So we shall see that rematch hopefully very soon. This one was also a really fun one. This is Atlantis and Esfinge versus Guerrero Maya Jr. and the Alchemist of CMLL Hechicero. I think this was a fun one, but I also feel that it took a little bit to get where it needed to be, but still a good time.
Yep.
It definitely was. Now, this match kind of banged. I just wish it was a little bit longer. So for the MLW Openweight title fight, we had Ultimo Guerrero defending his title against Sandokan Jr. and Barbaro Cavernario. These three had a lot of fun chemistry. I just wish we got 5 more minutes. Ultimo Guerrero does retain his championship, but then was promptly attacked by Alex Hammerstone, or Hammerstone as he's known in MLW, which we're very, very familiar with Hammerstone. So it seems that we might be getting an Ultimo Guerrero and Hammerstone feud for this open weight title, which makes me excited.
Again, I just want to point out that they used the picture of Ultimo Guerrero to make him look the most buffest.
It was so good.
Like he looks so shredded in that promo pic.
It's so beautiful. We love it. But in our main event, and probably my favorite match of all the CMLL peoples that we got to see on Azteca Lucha, a triple threat between Místico, Templario, and MLW's Ikuru Kwan. I think this was my favorite because, of course, Místico and Templario are a lot of fun, but I feel that Ikuru has continued to rise in stock for me. He just gels with luchadores very, very well. Místico does pick up the win by pinning Ikuru Kwan, but Ikuru gets the last laugh because not only does he still take the championship, he also takes Místico's mask and leaves him in a unmasked mess. It is wild out here. So, but that is all the news/matches you should watch. Oh, shout out to Titan. Titan, I love you. I want you to win Best of the Super Juniors, but we are not off to a great start. You had a banging match, but losing to El Desperado. We are at 0 points on the board, my dude. So hopefully you will get some points. But also, shout out El Desperado. I may or may not have fallen in love with you because I knew that you spoke Japanese, but your Spanish is also impeccable too. I love a man who is multilingual. But I digress. That
Indeed.
is my report for this week.
All right, and then that's going to be the show for this week. So please join us next week. Mi amigos, mi gente, what do you say next week? Same bat time, same bat channel?
Well, actually, you're not just kidding. Of course, we'll be back here.
Excellent. So until that time, just remember that I'm Biconic, you're Biconic, we are all Biconic, and you get to finish your own story. I gotta think of some sort of like ending
It's
thing.
okay.
I don't know.
It's
I
okay.
don't know. So and also I gotta figure out this outro thing a little bit better. But until next time, nos vemos. Adios.
Nena loca, me tiene loco en la cabeza cuando me tocas. Siento que todo está bien, pero en verdad yo no sé si tú lo sientes también.